Without it, what am I to be?
Greetings, so this may concern. Christian Aguilar here, back with another series review. And in today's series review, I'm going to be reviewing episodes 3 and 4 of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. Now, if you haven't seen my review on the first 2 episodes, you can go and watch that at the top right-hand corner right now. I recommend watching that and then coming and watching this video. I will be mentioning some spoilers here and there. I'm not going to go on my way to mention every single spoiler, but be warned, if you have not seen any episodes of this, I don't think you'll be watching this video. But if you are, just be warned that there's going to be spoilers. So let me just dive right into my thoughts on the 2 episodes, episode 3 and 4. I'll tell you this right now, out of the 2 episodes, I really enjoy episode 3 more, because unlike the first 2, this 3rd episode felt like it was pushing the narrative forward. It felt like all these characters were now in new places, you know, and it was very interesting to see how they would react to their new settings. However, when episode 4 came along, they were still in the same settings. You know, nothing felt like it was being pushed forward. We did get an answer to the question that was left at the end of episode 3, was what was inside the box that the dwarves, the Prince Durin, the dwarf prince that he had in his possession. He opened it up and it was very shiny. My first thought was one of the Silmarils, but I'm glad to say that it was Mithril. They revealed that it was that material that's light as a feather, but it is strong as iron, you know, and that's that same armor that Frodo wears, I believe throughout the trilogy. He survives getting stabbed a second time thanks to that armor, and then the armor was also taken by the orcs all the way at the end, or near the end of Return of the King, when he got captured again. So it plays a huge part in the story, because it protects the ring bearer on multiple occasions. And to see the origin of the material and seeing the dwarves discover it for the first time was really interesting. And to know that even them trying to excavate the material is very deadly. Like they almost died. And I will tell you this right now, everything with the dwarves that is set in Khazad-dûm, and we're seeing like the early days of the Mines of Moria, all of that is top notch. All the scenes with Elrond, Celebrimbor, Prince Durin, all that stuff is top notch. These characters, well, I should say these portrayals of these characters feel very natural and feel very genuine. They're the ones that feel like, yes, we exist in this world. And every conversation we have, it seems like we're exploring more of, if not our characters, the world around us. So I really like those scenes because it really fleshes stuff out like that. I hate to say it, but a lot of the Numenor stuff is beginning to drag on a little bit. I do like the whole prophecy of there being an apocalypse coming for Numenor, but it doesn't seem like it's going to happen anytime soon. So for them to just dwell on that one thing seems like that's all they're going to be focusing on when it comes to Numenor. It doesn't seem like they're going to do anything else with that rather than, oh, the end is near, so what are we going to do about it? Are we going to turn a blind eye? Are we going to help the overall fight? You know, so I hope that it doesn't just dwell on that and that there's more to explore there. But if they do stay on that whole overarching, there's an apocalypse coming our way, that I hope they keep it interesting. Because I know this show is planned to do like 5 seasons if they get that far, and I hope they're not teasing stuff here that we have to wait 4 more seasons to get to. And that's my main issue with this show, is its pacing. Again, I said this in my previous review for the first 2 episodes, they're introducing, and they do it here in the 4th episode too, they introduce new characters and start these new narratives without continuing the other ones that you started. You know, the Harfoots weren't even in episode 4 at all. You know, they kind of took a back seat, and we're going to see them again in episode 5, but for them to take a back seat and then to explore the rest of it all, it kind of feels like, yeah, we did bite off a little bit more than we can chew. We are telling a lot, you know, so we had to give ourselves an episode to kind of X one story out just to focus on a couple of others. But while they're doing that, there's also this other romance that's brewing. I think with Isildur's sister, there's this other romance that's brewing with her, and I'm like, okay, I thought our main romance was going to be the elf and then the mother. I felt that we still need to see their romance blossom and flourish, because we saw it start up. You know, we saw them exchange little looks back and forth. So I'm like, okay, there's our love interest. But to now introduce another relationship without exploring or expanding on the previous one, again, they're doing way too much. And that is my main problem with this show. Take your time. All right, tell one story. If you're going to start one story or two, tell those first two stories. And then if they lead into, which they should, they lead into other stories, then that's when the rest of the narratives come in. You know, don't try to introduce all these characters and then give them so much screen time in this first episode. Then when the next episode comes, you're introducing more characters or other characters. And I'm like, whoa, slow up a little bit. Just tell one story at a time. Allow the world to unravel itself with a cohesive narrative. I mean, I just can't help but think about The Lord of the Rings. Even in the books and in the movies, it's a straightforward path until they branch off, the breaking of the fellowship, right? And that's not until the end of the first book, beginning of the second, right? And I really wish that this show followed that same format. I know there's a lot that they have to cover. You know, the Second Age is chock full of lore, and even the beginning of the Third Age is also very chock full with lore. So I understand that they have a lot of ground to cover, but I believe they should have just took a page out of the Lord of the Rings' book. They should have just start with one narrative, push that forward, and while that narrative is going, there's other characters that are being introduced, other narratives that are starting to be branched out. So when you're introducing multiple things at the same time, it's a lot to keep track of, and it's a lot to. I'm glad that Amazon has that little X-ray special features tablet whenever you pause the video. It gives you like a little menu, tells you which actors are in the scene that you're currently watching, and tells you the characters. And they even give you little fun facts about like the making of anything, you know, the source material that's based off of, trivia facts. So I like that. And without that, there would be a whole bunch more confusion on my end, because that is really giving me a lot of context. It's keeping everything in track for me almost. And it kind of sucks that you have to have that for a television show. You can't just go in and enjoy it for what it is. I think that's what really differentiates Rings of Power from House of the Dragon. House of the Dragon, I full-heartedly believe you don't have to have seen a single episode of Game of Thrones in order to enjoy House of the Dragon. You know, you can go into it and you can get a feel of what this world is. You can understand what the plot is just with these characters. You don't have to know anything else, and you can still enjoy yourself. But with this, it feels like you have to read the books, or it feels like you have to go and watch the movies in order to understand even the littlest of mentions here and there, you know? So I wish this show had more of a straightforward narrative, more of a condensed narrative. They're doing a lot at just the start. And with so many characters, it's really hard to latch on or really emotionally connect to a lot of them. Like, again, the ones I mentioned already, Celebrimbor, Elrond, Prince Durin, and then if not them, the Harfoots are really, like, I'm attaching to them a lot because I'm just genuinely interested to see where they go. So far, it seems like this is the halfway point. I think there's might be like 8 or 9 episodes that they're going to do in this first season. So with there already being 4 episodes out, it's not as over the top and it's not as mind-blowing as it seemed to be. Like, especially with the knowledge of going into this, knowing that this is one of the most, if not the most expensive television series ever produced. Like, this is a really, really big budget production. So with that knowledge, you're going into it, you're expecting top-notch stuff, and even the quality of it, like especially from in episode 4, like because I just finished watching episode 4, I couldn't help but notice that this is showing its budget really, really badly. And even some scenes, and as much as I love the scenes in Khazad-dûm, there's even some scenes that just like they look like they're in a studio. You know, it doesn't look like you're in a cavern, in a mine, like in the middle of a mountain. No, it looks like you're on a studio, and that's a green screen or blue screen background, and then that's clearly a spotlight from a studio light. And seeing all that and knowing how much is being thrown at this series, it's the look of it and the quality of it is not matching the numbers. It's not matching the money that's being thrown at this. I mean, this show has way more money thrown at it than the Lord of the Rings trilogy. So I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, money doesn't fix everything, right? You can have all the money in the world, but if you don't have a straightforward vision or a straightforward narrative that you're really confident in telling, it's gonna show. It is, and unfortunately, that's showing here. I'm still hooked on this because there's still a lot I'm excited to see from this series. But so far, as a general audience member, if I wasn't a fan of Middle Earth or Tolkien or Lord of the Rings, and I just had no connection to this at all, and I was wondering if I should get into this, I wouldn't be into it, man. Like, if I've never seen the movies, I'd probably just spend my time experiencing those movies. I would not go to this show first, you know? And even as a fan of the movies, the show is a bit rough to get through, you know, but I'm still holding on because I hope some battle sequences, I hope the main battle sequences are flawless. I hope that's where the budget's at. And also there's a Balrog coming. I'm a sucker for a Balrog. It's hard to rank or rate these episodes so far, but overall, the 4 episodes together, I'd probably have to give it 2.5 out of 5 stars, which is 4 or 5. That's literally a 5 out of 10. I hope it gets better from here. I think the previous first 2 episodes I did enjoy better than these 2 episodes together. I mean, episode 4 really did a lot to leave a bad taste in my mouth. Episode 3 was good, but episode 4, I wish, you know, I wished it just kept getting better from here. And that's what the first 3 felt like. And then the 4th came and just went like, you know, it dropped a little bit, and I was upset by it. So that is my thoughts on the Rings of Power. If you are caught up to this point in time, the first 4 episodes out on Amazon Prime, what are you thinking of the show so far? Let me know down below. And as always, please like, share, subscribe, support the channel. It's always very much appreciated. The rendered image is a show I co-host my good friends Tyler and Shannon. Link to the channel will be down below in the description. I hope you're all safe and well out there, and I'll see you all in the next one. Take care.